Hello, Giants fans, and welcome to your Valentine's Views podcast for Wednesday, June 14. I'm your host, Ed Valentine of Big Blue View. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts across the Big Blue View radio network. Leave us a comment or a critique or a rating or whatever you can if you have that capability across the podcast network. We always appreciate the input. All right, day one of New York Giants mandatory minicamp is in the books, and we'll hear from head coach Brian Daboll just a little bit later as Daboll talks about Saquon Barkley, talks about his expectations for minicamp, and a variety of other topics that came up during his Tuesday media availability. But before we get to that, just wanted to hit a few of the newsworthy topics for the day. Of course, the first topic was Saquon Barkley's absence from the workout. That was expected, of course, after what he said on Sunday about his contract situation. Barkley, of course, not able to participate in the workout because he hasn't gotten a new contract from the Giants yet and has to this point refused to sign the franchise tag. So without signing a participation waiver, which basically would release the Giants from liability if Barkley got hurt, then he's not going to be able to participate, and he's not going to do that. So Barkley not at camp. Brian Daboll was asked a number of questions, as you'll hear a little bit later, about Barkley, and basically simply said he was going to keep any conversations he had with or about Barkley private. And of course, that would be the expected answer from Daboll. Really, no point in him discussing Barkley's situation in the media. So he obviously did not want to do that. The only real news of the day, other than Saquon being the only player not in attendance at the workout, the only real news of the day, I think, was made by wide receiver Sterling Shepard, veteran Giant, actually longest tenured Giant, the only Giant remaining from the team's 2016 playoff run. Um, Shepard, of course, trying to come back from two successive years of major leg injuries. 2021 torn Achilles tendon that cost him more than half of the season. 2022 torn ACL that knocked him out after only 3 games. Shepard said that his recovery, in his mind, is, quote, right on schedule. He said maybe even a little bit ahead of schedule. Asked when he thought he would be able to participate fully, he said that his target is the beginning of the season. And I would have to take that to mean that he will likely begin training camp at the end of July on the PUP list, probably not going to practice throughout training camp, could probably begin the season even on the PUP list, could be a guy who comes off the PUP list at some point during the regular season when there's an injury, when there's a roster opening, and plays part of the season for the Giants. We'll have to see just exactly how soon Shepard is ready, but it's hard not to root for Shep. He's a guy who's very loyal to the Giants, very good for the organization, guy who did a lot last year on the sideline. You remember the clips of Shepard, waving a towel during the playoff games and standing on benches and rooting for his guys. He's a guy that was around all year in the locker room, even though he wasn't playing, even though he was on IR and not able to play. He's a guy that did everything he could to help the other players, to help the organization, to be part of what the Giants did last year. Injuries have obviously been a major factor in Shep's career. Giants pretty much giving him one last chance to prove that he's got something left. And you have to root for Shep to make it back and to contribute something to the 2023 Giants. Shep seems to realize that it's a tough road for him. He seems to realize, as he said, there's a lot more talent. There's a lot more depth in that wide receiver room than there was a year ago. The additions of Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt, Jamison Crowder, Jeff Smith from the Jets, bringing back Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins being in his first full season, Colin Johnson being healthy again after missing last year with the torn ACL of his own, or excuse me, with the torn Achilles tendon of his own last year. So there's a lot of guys competing for spots here on this Giants wide receiver depth chart. Shep seems to realize that, and we'll see. Fingers crossed he'll be able to get healthy, be able to stay healthy, and be able to contribute something to the Giants in 2023. All right, another note from the day was that a few big names showed up at practice for the Giants on Tuesday. Former head coach, two-time Super Bowl winning head coach, Hall of Famer Bill Parcells showed up at practice in East Rutherford on Tuesday. Parcells now 81 years old, which really makes me feel really old, because I can remember watching games, when Parcells was leading teams to Super Bowl titles, and that makes me feel really old to realize that the big tuna is now 81 years old. But Coach Parcells was at practice on Tuesday and had a chance to speak to the team at the end of practice, which I think the players appreciated. The players got a kick out of hearing from Parcells. Hall of Famer Michael Strahan was also at practice, along with running back Brandon Jacobs. All right, just a couple of quick notes from practice. Not a lot to report from practice. The Giants did a very light workout. Obviously, these practices are under phase 3 OTA rules, which means shorts and t-shirts, no contact. The Giants have chosen not to do any 11 on 11 during these sessions. Couple of 7-on-7 periods, but not a whole lot in terms of things to report from the workout. Veteran safety Bobby McCain signed as a potential replacement for Julian Love. Had himself a nice day. Had 2 interceptions, actually only one of which I saw. That was a pick 6 on a pass from Tyrod Taylor. Quick out intended, I believe, for tight end Lawrence Cager that McCain picked off. He also had a pass defensed on a pass for Cager, and also, if you read some other reports, this is a play that I did not see. It was far away from me, and there were a lot of bodies in front of us, so I did not see this play. But he reportedly had an interception of Daniel Jones in the end zone during a red zone drill. So really, really nice day for Bobby McCain, who actually is working as the second team safety with Nick McCloud, cornerback last year, who looks like he's converting to safety, working alongside Xavier McKinney as the first team safety during the 7-on-7 drills. This is something we saw in OTAs as well. Hopefully get a chance to talk with McCloud about this transition here sometime soon, maybe on Wednesday. If I can, I'll try to get a chance. I'll try to get to talk with McCloud about that transition. One of the things to note about McCloud getting first team reps is that right now, second year man Dane Belton and also third year man Jason Pinnock, who are both safeties, guys who played a lot of snaps last year at safety for the Giants. Both of those guys are rehabbing injuries. They've been working with trainers throughout OTAs, and we're on the backfield working with trainers again. on Tuesday. Those guys are not participating in team periods. It will be interesting to see how that safety spot next to Xavier McKinney shakes out once we get to training camp and once everyone is healthy and able to get on the field. But very, very interesting that the Giants are using Nick McLeod, who filled a lot of roles for them at corner, inside and outside last year. Very interesting that they're using him in that spot, and we'll see how that transition continues to unfold. All right, Giants fans, let's get to the interview that I did with head coach Brian Daboll.
How's everybody doing? Good. Well, good to be back out here today. Really an extension of OTAs for us. We have, an extra walkthrough and some extra meetings after practice. Relative to our practice and how we're doing things, it'll be very similar as what we've done the last couple weeks. So good to be out there. Relative to, I know you probably asked a couple Saquon questions. My position hasn't changed on that from a couple weeks ago. Every conversation that I have about Saquon will be private. So, fire away.
Saquon seems frustrated that he feels like details of the negotiations were leaked and were misleading. Is that a concern on your end that he feels that way about negotiations that are supposed to be private?
Yeah, everything that I have to say about Saquon will remain private.
Is everybody here?
Everybody except Saquon, but it's nice to
Do you plan to have, like, when you make your plans for the future, like, for the season, are you planning as if he's going to be there?
I'm just planning for today.
What?
I'm just planning for today. Have a good practice.
Well, you obviously have to do roster construction. No?
Yeah, I'm just worried about today right now, Jordan.
Because he's so important to the team, can something like that become a distraction eventually? From your experience as a coach.
I'm just focused on today, Pat.
Dave, you mentioned that this is a continuation of the teaching, but at this point, are you looking for maybe more execution, alignment, or what are you looking for exactly?
Yeah, so we're adding some more things today. We'll do some more, team periods, but with our helmets off. We'll do some short yardage, some goal line, introduce some more things, keep increasing the installation, and then go out there and have some call-it periods, albeit 7-on-7, where the coordinators are just calling the plays. There's no scripts. Try to build on our communication, our fundamentals, and keep on, stacking days together.
Do you have pretty much everything installed at this point, or is there stuff you're holding back for training camp?
I'd say we have a lot. Not everything, but a lot. Today with the short yardage and goal line, it's hard to do, but we can do, with the helmets off and make it a teaching pace. But install those things. We can do some situational football today, separate from one another, but, last plays, things like that, and just kind of, we're getting close to having everything in.
Is there anything tangible that you've seen in terms of Daniel from one year to the next year during this period?
Well, I just say that he's got a much more comfort level with our offense. Again, we've added, I'd say, considerably new things these camps just to see how they look. But he's got really good give and take with Kafka, seeing how different players look in different spots. He's had a really good camp.
How different is that? How do you judge it really good? Like, they're just out here.
Yeah, no, he's made right reads. He's had good leadership. He's communicating well. He's doing, he's good in the meetings. All the things that we ask him to do right now during this time of year, he's done a good job with.
Is there any difference for you coaching? I mean, I know you're coaching everybody here, but as far as Daniel goes, a lot of time last year was spent getting to know guys.
Sure.
Right? When you know your quarterback, I mean, you don't know him entirely, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
How much does that comfort level, from your perspective, help grow things moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's just like any relationship. Year one is you're getting to feel each other out. Year two, hopefully you can build on the things that you've, what makes him tick, what makes me tick, what frustrates me, what frustrates him, plays he likes, plays he doesn't like. I mean, it's good communication. He's a very good communicator. We have open dialogue, not just me, but him and Kafka, him and Shea. He's done a nice job.
Are there any young players that you've
seen come in here, and you can, I know this isn't competition here, but you
Sure.
can see that they improved, and if so, how?
Yeah, well, I just say, all the young players, and this is no different than it was last year. Each day you hope to see a little bit more growth from them, whether it's, where to line up, how to line up, the communication factor. It's still a work in progress for, I'd say, a lot of the young guys.
Dave, what have you learned with a spring under your belt with Waller?
He's a good pro. He's smart. Again, he's, much like Daniel, I said, he's done everything we've asked him to do. He's a good communicator. He's, played a lot of football, been productive. Again, we're still, utilizing him in different ways. We're seeing what he likes, what he feels comfortable with, what the quarterback feels comfortable with. But, he's been a pleasure to be around, both in the classroom and out on the field.
Weapon-wise, though, how does he change the offense?
We'll see. We got a long way to go. Again, once we get the pads on and start doing all the things that we can do. Right now, it's more of a passing camp per se, but hopefully we can figure out a way to use them best.
Given that it's more of a passing camp, do you feel like a player like Darren is someone who you can assess more accurately than maybe like a defensive tackle or offensive lineman this time of year?
Yeah, those guys do pretty much individual, so they don't get a lot of good on good work, and that's just based on rules and things like that. Obviously, we have no pads on. We're trying to do the right thing there, but again, it's his first year in our system. He's still learning things. He's smart. He's picking them up, but we got a long way to go.
What do you feel of the group that you're working with now that you're back for a second year?
Yeah, no, excited. It's a good day to be out here. These guys have worked really hard. They all understand what it is. It's passing camp per se, and we're just trying to get better day by day.
It was clearly a priority.
There's been a focus on hunger that you want to see from these guys early.
On the what? I'm sorry.
I think focus and hunger that you want to see early going into training.
Yeah, we try to be pros in everything we do. So you come into work, you do your job, you try to be really good at it. You learn from your mistakes. Start with me and try to improve each day.
Brian, in your career as a position coach, offensive coordinator, now head coach, was your antenna up at this time when you see players come back who have gotten paid? You know what I mean? They got paid, they got their contract. How are they going to be? How are they going to act? Are they going to be the same?
No, my goal is just build a relationship with our guys. And, each guy's here for a reason. Come out there, do their job, and try to get better each day.
Is at any point will you encourage Daniel, in a couple of days you got great, to put it away for a while? Is that important for him?
Yeah, I've said this before. It's hard for him to do. So I think he's been in the league long enough. He has a routine that, over the next, call it month, that he's used to, and I have a lot of trust that he'll be ready to go.
There was obviously a priority this offseason in adding speed and explosiveness at especially the wide receiver position. When you looked at that group this spring, what have you seen?
Yeah, a lot of new guys. We're still trying to figure things out. We've moved guys around. We shuffled them in and out. Obviously, there's some faster guys that we have out here, but we're still working through that.
What do you mean by still trying to figure things out?
Yeah.
Like where guys
Yeah, no.
their position?
Yeah, we've moved them around a bunch, and this is what I think this time of year is for. It's like, I know we're not doing a bunch of teamwork, but Bobby shuffled, offensive linemen in and out to different spots, guard to center, center to guard, guard to tackle. This is the time to do it, to give them a little bit of a foundation, because come July 25th or somewhere around there, it's we're going to get going here, and there's not a lot of time for mistakes.
Brian, I think this kind of piggybacks on what Jordan asked, but you have all these new players, Waller and some new wide receivers. Is there a balance between trying to stick with what you did well last year and try to implement some of what these newer guys do?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Each year it's so different because you roughly have 30 to call it 40% new players. So your job as a coach is to go out there and experiment with some stuff. Obviously, you have a baseline of a system, but just because one play looked good one year really has nothing to do with the next year. So, like I said, we got a long way to go. Working through some things, and the guys have been working really hard, and that's getting ready to go for training camp.
Take a couple more.
Are you at all? I guess how do you explain the change in the way running backs are viewed by the league now compared to 5-10 years ago when you came in?
I don't know. I think each year is different.
Can a young guy impress you during a camp like this and just give you an idea of where he's heading and how he'll fit in?
Right now, we're just trying to make sure they get lined up in the right spots, get our fundamentals and techniques down, and then build on from what they did the day before.
Hey Brian, over
Yes.
the off season, have you ever done a double take when Andre Patterson has walked by you saying, "Where do you go?"
I got to get on his program. Yeah. Nice. Looks good.
Do you guys have any guys working out? I know last year you guys had some veterans.
There'll be a couple guys. There'll be a couple guys out here. There'll be a couple other guys out here. And then the other thing is this last one. The other thing is Parcells is here today. You guys will see him walking around. Okay? Have a good one.
And that's our show for today, Giants fans. I'll be back out at the Quest Training Center for day 2 of minicamp on Wednesday. Have a little bit more audio, a little bit more video for you guys. Please, check our coverage of minicamp at bigblueview.com. Check the @BigBlueView Twitter account for some updates, some video, some audio there as well. All right, Giants fans, thank you as always for listening. Please stay safe out there, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.